delivered by Silicon Brighton. This is actually the first of its kind. So for those of you who maybe came last year, firstly, an introduction myself. I'm Grace and I run Silicon Brighton. And we launched this last year. Throughout, I think the pandemic, Game Dev Drinks took a bit of a hiatus, and we saw that there sort of wasn't an opportunity for people to come together and just socialise a little bit. That is definitely sort of firmly back on the ground. So we figured that there was a little bit of a gap for some more sort of events with panel discussions and Q&As and fireside chats and stuff like that. So thank you for coming to the first one of this, especially in the dark depths of January. It's pouring with rain outside, so your commitment is well and truly noted. Thank you. So just in terms of today's agenda, we've all done the arrivals bit and the networking. Hopefully you've had some drinks from the fridge behind the banner behind me and pizza on the side. Please do help yourself to more throughout the evening or afterwards. I'm just going to kick off with a quick intro and then hand over to our host for the evening. And then we'll finish around about 7:30, but there will be a chance to network and just chat and have some food and drinks and stuff for half an hour at the end before we wrap up at 8 o'clock. So just a warning, I suppose, that the event has been recorded, so it will be live streamed, and you may have noticed that there's a photographer who's been wandering around taking some pictures. If you would like not to feature in the live stream or on social at all, then please come and let me know, or one of the team, and we'll make sure that you aren't. And the space that you're in, Projects, this wonderful, wonderful room, is actually the venue sponsor for this evening. I have Emily here this evening just to say a quick warm welcome from her and a little bit about the space. So thank you, Emily.
Thank you everyone for coming out here tonight. For those of you who haven't been here, this is Projects. We have 2 spaces, one here at the Lanes and one over on Ship Street. And it'd be so lovely to see you all again. It's really great to have more people in the space. And we do so many different things here, like co-working memberships and day passes and lots of different events that all come up. And it's really great to have lots of people who are in Brighton come and see the space. So thank you for having it here too, Grace. And just a little bit of fire safety. So we don't have any planned drills. So if the fire alarm does go off, which we really hope it doesn't, please do leave via the nearest exit here. I'm fire marshal trained, first aid trained, and mental health first aid trained. So please come and find me if you need anything at all. I'll be here or downstairs. We just want to make sure you feel safe in the building and have a really great event. We've all been looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you again for coming here. And I really hope you enjoy the event. I'll pass over back to you.
Oh, thank you, Emily. Sounds like we're in super safe hands. Just a little bit of an intro about Silicon Brighton. Apologies for repetition if you've come to our events before, although also a thank you. For those of you who don't know who we are, we basically host Brighton Hove's tech sector. So this is one of about 30 tech and digital meetup groups, all of which happen across the city at different places. And we support all of these groups. They are all free to join. They're available to people at all levels, and they're all hybrid as well, so in person but also live streamed as well. And the idea is really just to make them as accessible as possible. You can attend as many as you want, whether you work specifically in any of these industries or with any of these programming or coding languages. Everyone is welcome. So please check us out, have a look at the other meetups that we run, tell your friends about them, come and check some other ones out. There is always drinks and pizza provided as well, if the free attendance hasn't already piqued your interest. So Sussex Game Makers needs you. As I said, this is the first of its kind in terms of having talks and panels and Q&As, but we're really keen to continue with this. So if you maybe have an idea for a talk or Q&A or panel, or if you'd like to in any way kind of help a little bit more actively in terms of the involvement of these running, then please come and see myself again, and we can sort of discuss how to get you involved. These are all our supporters, so lots of different businesses who contribute to us financially to help the running of these, to continue to keep these events free for all of you to join. So just a massive thank you to all of these local businesses. These are our values across Silicon Brighton. So impact, so we're championing tech that it makes a positive impact in the real world. We take action, so we're not just about talking, we want to bring ideas to life. Responsiveness, so we're staying up to date and listening to what the community needs, and creating a better industry for all tech people to enjoy. Amplification, so we're really proud to give a voice to individuals in the industry, and also friendships, or making friends. So it's all about bringing people from out behind the desk, behind the computer, maybe working remotely, and just make friends. You can follow us online outside of this. So we're on Twitter. I'm not a social person, so these mean relatively little to me, but Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter as well. And then we also have a Slack group, of which there is a channel, Sussex Game Makers. So feel free to join that. It's pretty active. You can meet different people, ask questions, connect you to other people as well. And here's just an idea of some of the events that we have coming up. So Brighton Blockchain is tomorrow. We have AWS user group coming up on Thursday. Game Dev Drinks is happening on the last Friday of the month, as it does every month. And then Brighton Data Forum is happening next week. So we do have an events calendar on our website. Come and check it out, join some other groups, get involved, get stuck in. And I imagine that most of you are on the meetup group already, but if you're not, here's the link to join, and you'll get notified of all the other events that are coming up through Sussex Game Makers for the rest of the year and beyond. So that is it. I'm going to hand over to Luke, our main event. And yeah, please enjoy.
That's, well, hello. Yeah, well, thank you, Grace. Thank you. And thanks to Sussex Game Makers and Silicon Brighton for putting this on, and to Projects for hosting. So that's really appreciated. We're very happy to be here and running this event, and joined by such an incredible company. Although you might have noticed, it's not quite what advertised, as Kirsty Rigdon is unfortunately unwell and isn't able to make it today. I was in a similar boat actually a few hours ago. So this talk is brought to you in part by the medicinal power of day nurse, although I believe other medicines are available. So this is a chance to chat about getting to know our world-leading games industry that Brighton is so lucky to have. We have so many great studios here doing lots of great work. So talk about that with Veronique Lallier, the new Chief Development Officer of IO Interactive. But before we talk to Vero, I just thought I'd introduce myself. I am Luke Hebblethwaite, the head of games at BAFTA. You've hopefully heard of BAFTA, and you hopefully know that we do a lot of work in games. So as an arts charity, we support the creative and cultural importance of games, film and television. So our job is to make sure that the great world knows the value those media bring to all of us. That involves obviously things like our massive award shows that we do, whether in film, games or TV. Those awards happen. They're quite unique in the ecosystem in that they only exist really to do that championing of the creative and cultural importance of the mediums. I do a lot to support creative talent, whether people kind of any stage in their journey, from young people looking at interested in games, helping people find those roles, or supporting people mid or later in their career. And we do a lot of work as a charity to advocate for a progressive industry, to help support and grow that industry and nurture it in the ways we'd like to see the industry evolve for the future. And so hopefully all of that makes sense. And but yeah, Vero, thank you very much for joining us. How exciting to have you here.
Thank you. I'm very excited as well. And I am not taking day nurse or night nurse. I was the only one not sick. So
yeah,
I hope I won't be tonight after this event.
Yeah, well, yeah, sorry. I'll move this way a little bit. But yeah, no, thank you for joining us. And, what an exciting time to be talking to you, right? It's a I think this might be your first interview in the new role.
Yes, 100%. So I've started my new role on 2nd of January, flew directly to Copenhagen on the 1st. That's fine. I did a dry, January, New Year's Eve. So that was fine.
Okay, right, yeah.
So I wasn't completely wasted when I took the plane, which was a bonus. But yeah, that's my first, event since I've started my new role, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So as the Chief Development Officer for IO Interactive, Just to sort of, for those of you who don't know, they're particularly famous for the Hitman franchise. Hitman 3 released. It's a 20-year-long franchise, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the first Hitman was launched in 2000, and I think something I really like about IO Interactive, and something that really drove me towards this company and why I really wanted to be part of this team, was actually the fact they always try to bring innovation in the game they're bringing to the market and they're creating. And Hitman was really groundbreaking in terms of revolutionizing the stealth and action gameplay when it launched early 2000. So for me, it was really important that the next team I joined was someone who was really trying to innovate in the gaming field. So yeah, really, really happy being part of this group. We have about 400 employees across Europe, and they are all amazing. I mean, everybody I've met, I haven't met everybody yet, but everybody I've met so far, they're really driven by passion of making great game and great game experience. So I'm super excited to be part of this team.
That's fantastic. And so, yeah, I mean, you've talked a little bit there about the sort of about the size and shape of IO and the games you've worked on and sort of the history. I think, it's, I think with Hitman 3 that came out in 2021, BAFTA nominated for technical achievement. I like to get that in everywhere I can. It's an exciting time to be stepping into that company. I guess for those who don't know, the Hitman 3 culminates the World of Assassination trilogy. Wonderful name. And it's kind of like a new phase for the company to be stepping in.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think for us, it's been very important to really embrace and support our community of fans over the year and bring more content and fresh content as often as we can. And that's what we've been doing over the last few years. And I'm sure you may, or maybe you haven't seen, but we released a few celebrities crossover last year, and we're planning to continue to do that, because I think it's bringing more challenges for our players to come and try to replay the game and do things and try the new challenges. So that's something very important for us at IO, and and I'm really excited with that. I love, live game. It's been something really close to my heart for many years as a gamer, but also as a part of this industry and community of game makers. So love that.
Yeah, I think one thing I forgot to do at the start, or come back to all of that, is just a little show of hands here, actually, just for who works in games. Is anyone working in games? We've got quite a lot of people. That's good. Who is either a student or would like to work in games? So go to the middle, and then a mystery third category of people who I guess have just arrived, but like, hey, I hope you're enjoying it. But yeah, you're interested fans and all of that kind of stuff. It's absolutely great to have you here. So that's sounding really interesting. I think so. Just helps us steer things a little bit as well. But I think my first question really is, what exactly does a chief development officer do?
Very good question. So I think it really depends. Each studio will have a different definition of what a studio do, and each individual will take the challenge, differently based on who they are, their background, and the need of their team. At IO, at the moment, I'm overseeing our 4 development groups. So we have, the Hitman group. We also announced a couple of projects that I'm helping the team with. But finally, we also have our own engine, which is the 4th team I'm overseeing. So basically, in my day-to-day, I'm helping, the guys with the different, piece of content they're trying to push, their milestone, etc. Helping with the assignment and the resources, making sure we have the right talent for the right, strike team. And it's really down to helping the guy to make, the game, and helping to find solution to their challenges and help them to organize themselves as well. So I'm helping. I'm a helper.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge amount of work to be covering as well, and like those different aspects, not just the projects themselves, but also the game engine side, Glacier, I think it's called, yeah, which is what all the games are built on top of. So yeah, that's really interesting. And so with the IO Interactive is a Danish company. You've got the studio in Brighton and a couple of others. So what is it the Brighton studio is here to work on?
So all our studio actually are working on across all our projects. So there is not a master studio doing one thing or, or others. We are all equally important, and it's more based on what talent we found. Let's say our, Hitman team is looking for QA people or for, tech, artist. Then what we'll do is we open the position across all the location we have. So we have Brighton, Barcelona, Istanbul, Malmo, and Copenhagen. And wherever the talent is more than welcome. So it's not really, segregated by, this studio is going to do only Hitman, this studio is going to do that. It's more like, we welcome the talent of the world to join us in our location and help us across all our projects, really. So that's how it works at the moment. Yeah.
So just thinking about that Brighton team, you said that the overall company is about 400 people. What's the sort of size and shape of the Brighton team? What kind of roles do you have there?
Yeah, so we have about 30 employees in Brighton at the moment. We are planning to expand to about 100. So we already have the space. We took more space in the building. We started the first little space of office space, and
grow out and fill it.
Yeah, exactly. No, we are hiring across every function. So you will have design, programming, QA, even like support function, like all our people person. Also, we have some marketing function as well. We are recruiting for. So we really, and a lot of artists and so on, we're really looking for a lot of people. I mean, we're trying to hire about 100 people this year. So, we have position open on our website, and basically we inviting, people to work in one of our location. I mean, the one that makes more sense. We don't have fully remote work. This is not how we work at IU. We have a hybrid model where people are expected to be in the office on the Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Tuesday and Friday are the day people can take from home, basically.
Right.
But that's how we work. I'm personally every day in the office because I just like being, with the people. And I think it's, for me, it's really important to have those water cooler conversation because I'm getting distracted very easily, and I quite like to have quick chat, and see how things are and stuff. So I really like that, and I think it helped with the culture, and building, friendship at work, being together. So yeah, I'm in the office every day. So this week I'm in Brighton. Next week I'm in Copenhagen, and I'm gonna go as well to Malmo next week, and I will travel all our offices because I have friends everywhere now, so I need to see everyone.
I'm glad we were able to catch you while you're still in the country for this, really.
Yeah.
That's quite a jet-setting lifestyle, but I guess it's quite a lot of plates to keep spinning as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite, I said something, I was a bit, my carbon footprint this year is going to be terrible, so I might find ways to go in train at some point, but, might not make a very efficient use of my time, but yeah, I know it's...
I do like the Eurostar.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So anyway, we'll figure out. But to start with, I really want to spend a lot of FaceTime with the guys everywhere, and then I think I'll camp in Brighton most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And so just thinking about some of those other projects you've got coming down the line. If Hitman is kind of working on the kind of ongoing stream for it, you've got Glacier. What are those other two projects that are working on?
So we have the Bond project that we have announced. So that's super exciting for us.
James Bond.
James Bond, yeah. Our British agent.
Yeah.
So no, it's really cool. I'm, extremely excited. I think for our company is definitely a monumental, pledge. We really want, and we have the ambition for this game to be, and it is at the moment the biggest project we ever had, and it's extremely exciting. I mean, as a kid, I was watching James Bond, even if it was not super appropriate when you look back at the old version of James Bond. Now, it hasn't grown very well, but, I'm still a big fan about, the IP. I loved, all the recent James Bond, and I'm really excited to be able to work on this game with the team. It's super cool.
I guess my most important question on James Bond is how good at GoldenEye 64 are you?
Yeah.
Who's your main?
No.
No, but that's amazing. Like to bring, I guess, and
Yeah,
continue to be working on,
Yeah.
British team on a game like that.
And it's really cool because it's original game ID, so it's not inspired by one of the movies. So it's original story.
It's an origin story. Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be super cool.
I mean, it's it's an amazingly natural fit, isn't it, for considering what you've been working on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting times ahead. And then you've got another major project as well.
Yeah, another major project, which is really a passion project for us. Our Chief Creative Officer, Christian Elvendam, is a big fan of online fantasy RPGs and has been playing this type of game for many years. And he really wanted us to take a new approach on how we can innovate the genre. So that's a project that has been worked on for a couple of years, I would say now, and it's definitely really exciting. I've just played before coming actually this afternoon with my friends at the office, and it's shaping very well. So I'm really excited by this project as well. It's really awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. And really, I guess, like as we sort of said a minute ago, expanding beyond the world. I mean, obviously there's been other games that I have been doing, but with, obviously Kane and Lynch and so forth, but with, Hitman coming to a close, it's a really kind of interesting, exciting, slightly terrifying time to be doing that. I kind of would want to talk, I mean, amazing to talk about all this stuff. And I really want to, I guess, the question that's sort of thinking about those roles that you're recruiting for, expanding to 100 new people. The Brighton community is, really vibrant here. We've got a lot of amazing companies, lots of great developers and teams that are working here. I mean, I think, and if you've got a drive to kind of recruit locally, how do you feel about that at the moment? Like that chance to, are you looking to bring people to the town, or what's your plan?
I mean, I think as you said, there are a lot of amazing studios already established here, and a lot of talent in Brighton and the area. And actually, I don't know, I was reading an article on BBC, I think in December, late December, where it was stated that about 20% of the gaming workforce is based in the South East area. So, I think we have a lot of talent here, and it's really good, to be able to hopefully attract some of those talents, but also through the university program they are in Brighton as well. In my past life, we had success, working with the Brighton University with internship and stuff, and I know our team in Copenhagen is already in touch with some of the internship people in the Brighton University. So it's also a great opportunity for that. And I think ultimately it's not by mistake that IO decided to open an office here in the UK. Our CEO has been in this industry for few decades as well, and had the opportunity to work with a lot of very amazing AAA studio in England. And for him, it was kind of a no-brainer. He really wanted us to have a footprint here to be able to attract those great talents. We're very good here in England. I can say we because I have dual citizenship. Even if I sound like my son will say, as an Italian, I am not Italian. I am British and French now. So anyway, I think, we need to be very proud because our country have definitely great talent in the gaming, and we have a real savoir-faire, as you will say in French, and that's why I think for IO it was very important to get an office here.
Yeah, and I think also just fantastic to have some good news about recruitment in the industry in these kind of tough times. I think we're all kind of mindful at the moment how difficult things are for everyone. So let's hope that some of those people find their way into those roles. And I guess I'd just say for anyone here, if there's anything BAFTA can do, or we're around as well. So if there's anyone looking for support, always give us a shout. But obviously recognizing that it is a bit of a tough time at the moment for everyone, and kind of almost daily bad news. But it's I think it's different. It's not universal. There's kind of different pockets of it around, I think.
Yes, I've been in this industry since 1999, and I don't think I've seen such big changes into the industry. And I think I mean, we also, none of us has seen like a pandemic like as the one we had like a few years ago. So, you know, the knock-on effect and everything has been pretty brutal for all of us. But at least we are hiring, and you know, and I hope we'll be able to attract some of those talents who are looking for a new home.
Yeah,
you know?
fantastic. And so, like, well, why thinking about Brighton? I want to talk a bit more about like what the community here and the shape of Brighton. And so, what is it about Brighton? Do you think really is it? Why is Brighton such a great place to have a games business? Or is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing. I mean, personally, when I migrated here in 2005, I fell in love with the city because it's so vibrant, multicultural, and you know, it's just great. And I think growing older, man, road to 50 is coming. Growing older in Brighton. I actually continue to enjoy the city and you know, it's actually a good place as well to raise kids. You also have, you know, connection to a lot of, you know, international airport if you want to. I'm going to Copenhagen from Gatwick here, so it's pretty easy commute as well. You can go to London, and I think, you know, just having such a strong community of, you know, a gaming studio and, you know, a gaming partner engine. Oops, it won't fall.
It's not going any further than that, is it? It's going to stay there.
It's fine, yeah. But yeah.
If I drop mine, then we're not going to know how long we should be on here, and then we're just going to talk all night.
Yeah, maybe drop yours. But yeah, so I think it's just the right place to be for my perspective. You know,
Yeah.
I love this city, and I think the community, the gaming community, is very strong here.
Yeah, great. And I think like. So when in my previous life, I used to work for UKI, the trade association. One of the things I did in that was a project called the UK Games Map, and you can still go on to it. It's gamesmap.co.uk, and it's basically like a big Google map, and all the dots on the map are the different games companies. And it showed us quite a lot of interesting data. Brighton is top of the table for the highest density of games businesses. So out of all the businesses there are in the area, there's more games businesses as a ratio than there are anywhere else in the country, which is quite remarkable. Yeah. And it's then the next is Dundee, and then eventually you get to London. But I mean, it's obviously a lot bigger of a place. But it's that, I guess that there's a lot of community here. And lots of different, like, I guess at different scales. You've got, you know, Electric Square, Mag Interactive, Studio Gobo, bigger studios, and then a sort of vibrant indie community as well. And I think, like, do you think people locally are aware that Brighton is such an important hub for the games industry and for the development?
I think, you know, so in my surrounding, yes. My friend in the gaming industry, yes. But I think there is more coverage, you know, around that. And I think initiative like, you know, the Silicon Brighton as well, it helps a lot. But, you know, like when you have mainstream media like BBC covering, you know, the fact that Brighton is definitely a big hub for gaming and such, is really helps for people to recognize that. But it's a good question. I'm not sure if everybody knows that. At least it's the school of my kids, they know, because I offer to present them what we do in game studio. So
you've got a captive audience there.
Oh man, yeah. I was 8 years old. They love me. I was the coolest mom. My son was very proud as well.
That's a pretty cool mum to have here. I also like with Develop as well being here. I mean, it's the UK sort of premier games developer conference, really, and sort of one of the biggest in the world. And I often feel like it flies under the radar a little bit locally. You know, you don't see it sort of headlining the Argus and that kind of thing. So
yeah, no, that's true. But I know the local BBC usually cover the event as well, and also, to be honest, we had like really. You know, massive gaming celebrities coming to develop over the years. I mean, I remember, I think this was in 19, was it in 19? That was, yeah, maybe in 2019 or 2016. Sorry, my brain might abandon me with the edge. But Hideo Kojima came, and I remember I was like, whoa, he's here in Brighton, oh my God. And we had like a big celebrity over the year coming to the conference. So I think the conference really is extremely relevant, extremely good. And to be honest, I am very proud of the topic that the conference are bringing to the table, because we had this year two very interesting roundtable. For me, there was imposter syndrome, how to overcome your imposter syndrome as a topic in Developing Brighton. And there was also how to work with menopause. And I think, these topics are not often brought up in, GDC San Francisco, because my friend would talk about the imposter syndrome. She applied for the GDC talk and they told, no, not really our cup of tea. And I think, that's something as well very unique to Brighton, is like we are our community, and not only gaming community, we're very aware and ready to tackle some of the maybe less interesting topic for big, business, but still a very interesting topic for the individual that work in those industry. I'm sure we all had this feeling being like, fuck, why I'm there, and a big imposter syndrome, and I'm living that every day. And I think, it's touched all of us at some point. We feel like completely overwhelmed, and, I just go like, why am I here? Is it really me? I need to be involved. So,
Yeah,
so I like that with Developing Brighton. And I think it's maybe not super mainstream yet, but I think it's really true and to our gaming community value. And I love that.
Yeah, I mean, they had I think as well, like a free creche, I think.
Yeah.
Which is the last year was the one they implemented that. So just great to see developments like that. I guess when we think about sort of accessibility and social mobility and the kind of opportunities people have, like having different options for different walks of life, at any point. And so something like a free creche is just, childcare is a major thing that people have to deal with. And so, yeah, I was really glad to see that there. I think talking about the local community as well, you've mentioned a lot of great studios around. Like we've got Sussex Game Makers, we've got Game Dev Drinks. What do you think there's anything else we could be doing, or do you like to see more? Like, what kinds of activities might bring us all together? I feel we've got kind of a lot of component parts of a great network, and we've got you've got the indie scene, you've got the big studios, you've got kind of fan venues, you've got the Loading Bar, you've got the One Up Cafe. We've got kind of lots of bits here, and I feel it could gel a bit more, maybe.
No, yeah, you're right. I think we have a lot of different initiative, and maybe we should try to find ways to coordinate a bit more around. And I think let's do more with Silicon Brighton. Let's do more with BAFTA. Let's do more with everyone here. It's very important because we all learn from each other each time we talk to each other, and it's really good to have this opportunity to be surrounded with such a great talent. So we should do more, definitely.
Well, happy to try and help with that and to play my part. I guess the other sort of main, like the missing piece of that puzzle that we haven't touched about is local authority. And like coming from a trade association background, that's the sort of thing I would have concentrated on a bit more than I do now, which is more on the arts and crafts side of things. But I wonder again, like, I don't know if you have any insight, I don't, but like what sort of awareness within the local authority that the games industry here is as important it is an internationally impactful global industry. Do they kind of know what they've got at their fingertips?
Yeah, the only contact I have with the local authorities when I receive the council tax. I'm sorry, we pay it, so that's fine. They like us. They haven't.
See,
that's
it's going to go
yours.
eventually. Yeah. You're going to be here all night now.
But so no, to be honest, I haven't had a lot of success, getting support, but I guess I never really proactively ask. Usually when I need help or advice, and when I open my previous office here in Brighton, I work with UK, I work with people to help, investment into England coming from American company and stuff like that. But Tiga and this, this group help a lot and help us a lot, in general. But the local council, no, really, I never really had many interaction.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so maybe that's, I guess also with those kind of things, it's quite broad, like local networks can be quite useful in supporting and bringing people together. Because again, if you're coming at that from the outside, you're like, games companies can be quite opaque and so on. We all have our NDAs and all of that. Well, I mean, there's lots to talk about, and now I don't know how long we've got left. I'm not going to hang on for this too much longer and open up to some Q&A. I think there's so much interesting stuff here, and like I think especially about the way we engage in the town a bit more, and about how we kind of, I guess, get the message across that the Brighton's games industry is competing with games that are globally successful, that are reaching millions and millions of players. And that's something perhaps we can talk about collectively. But I guess my final question to you is, it's an exciting time for you. What are you looking forward to in 2024 and beyond?
A lot. Yeah, I mean, I think professionally, trying to get my head around, every project we are doing and continuing to bring great content for Hitman and getting our team and our community very engaged with everything we're doing on that, and make progress on the game and development, because I'm really excited to be able to push those babies out, and that's going to be a great thing. And personally, continue to play great game. I'm my third playthrough of Baldur's Gate. Maybe I should do something else. But yeah, it's continue to play games when I have time between,
in all the gaps.
Yeah.
And so just to kind of go back to it, so you've got 100 new roles. You've got building the team up to about 100 people. So you've got jobs at all scales within that. And so people want to find out about more, they should go on your website?
Yes, on the website there is all the role open, but yeah, we're looking for a lot of talent. So please, if you know friends who are looking for a job, we're recruiting, really. Or if you want a new job, we're recruiting. Well, I'm not going to push you from one of our friends, because I have a lot of friends in the room, so I'm not going to steal their talent. Sorry. No. We have canteen as well, like in Gobo.
Very cool. So I'd just like to open it up to Q&A. So thank you very much, and thank you to Vero for that. And so looking forward to hearing from you guys. They have a slightly unorthodox way of doing this, apparently, in which the cube is tossed to volunteers. So get ready. And I don't know, that's not meant to dissuade you from putting your hand up. I sort of feel like it does, but let's try. And then you talk into the cube, apparently.
Testing. Okay.
Right.
The microphone's working. Is my catching working? Oh, I'm actually really scared.
There you go. Drop my phone as well.
Everyone's got their phone down. It's amazing. So well done. That's a 50% success rate so far. Yeah, okay, great. Thank you.
For some reason, I thought this was going to be rock solid, but it's soft. So nice surprise. Yeah, all the GCSE PE teachers were. Hi, very nice to be here as well and learn more about IO Interactive. So I used to work with Sam Dogaminter. He used to work for IO Interactive, I believe, and he started the Istanbul studio in Turkey. So
it's amazing.
One thing that I'm very passionate about is just how it feels like a lot of game studios or even tech companies are very centered in the West. So in most of Europe, the UK, America, some parts of Asia as well, but barely any in the African continent or even in the Middle East, even though there's a lot of people there. So whenever I'm looking on GitHub, open source projects, contributors online, a lot of smart people over there. So in Egypt, Tunisia, Rwanda, Kenya, etc. So I was just curious to learn more about the Turkey studio as well and what's going on with that. I know a few folks have other aspirations to expand in the Middle East. So I know in the Middle East right now, Saudi Arabia said they want to spend $38 billion by the year 2030 on setting up game studios from scratch, because they don't have any really prominent ones over there. So it's quite an exciting time for growth, especially when all we hear about right now is reductions in force, layoffs, everything. So just curious to learn more, really.
So we did actually open the Istanbul studio last year, and same time we were opening Brighton. I mean, Brighton was just after, so we have a small team there. It's starting, and we have ambition to grow. And again, for us, it's a matter of being able to tap into local talent. Istanbul is definitely Turkey is well located to attract a lot of talent on this region. For us, it's very interesting to be able to have expertise of the local market. Like if you look at the expertise around the area on the mobile devices and stuff, is definitely something very interesting for us. we want to grow this studio and get more talent over there as well. And it's a small team at the moment, but we have ambition to recruit. So any of the position open, if someone is interested to move to Istanbul and live there, yeah.
I think it's
Definitely.
interesting as well. I mean, there are definitely some great game studios kind of all around the world. I think there's a games company I found in Cameroon called Kiru Games, who make a game called Legacy of Orion that was really, really great. But also, like, you see things like Farsi language now being in the new Prince of Persia game. I think games companies are kind of diversifying the way in that they authentically represent people within those games. So there's a lot of change going on in the industry to that regard, and that is informed really by kind of an ever more diverse set of voices getting to make the games as much as anything else.
Yep.
Right? Anyone else? Yeah. I'll toss the cube to the middle at the front. Thank you. There we go. Yeah.
Good
Thank you.
catch.
Hi.
Because you start with an applause, so I mean, you can't. You've got to live up
Pressure.
to that now, though.
So with all these buzz about generative AI, I'd like to hear more about you. Do you have people saying it's going to steal our jobs? The artists complain about that. People say no, these are new opportunities for us. So what is your take on that? Do your studio use generative AI?
To be honest, I'm not sure if we're using any at the moment. I've just joined. Personally, I do use ChatGPT sometimes so like that I sound a bit smarter when I write things, definitely help me to rewrite my words. I think, ultimately generative AI has a benefit, personally, and that's my own personal belief, not my company, because I really don't know what they think and how we integrate or not generative AI in our workflow, because that's not something I've seen yet. So I will assume we are not using any for now. But I'm genuinely extremely interested to see how it can help us to be more efficient overall. I think copyright is always an issue, and we need to all be extremely aware of that. There is no desire whatsoever, I think, from any of us in this industry to steal anyone else's job, because we're all working on games and, and IPs that we are either building or using partners IP, etc. So I think for me that will be the area to be always very careful. But I think it's definitely helping. I've used Midjourney in my personal life as well to do some composition of art when I'm trying to convey something or work on presentation and stuff like that. But I think it's only internal, it's not to generate value. And usually what I do is I feed the system with my own pictures that I've taken, trying to rework them. So I think it helps, and it actually helped me personally to materialize some of the idea I have that I wasn't able to materialize properly. But I think as company, we always need to, use technology that's made available to us, but with care. But I wouldn't say, oh, no, it's evil. I think for me, it's been very useful for our company. I haven't seen if we use generative AI yet in our workflow. I don't think we do, but I might be wrong. I've just been like 3 weeks old, so I don't know.
Great. Someone else? Yes, over on the right-hand side.
Oh,
The failed.
almost.
It's 2-1 to the opposing team.
Sorry, a little bit tired recently.
Fair enough.
Okay, so yes, my question is also related to the external technology, the virtual reality. So, do you think virtual reality could also be part of the development direction in your company in the future? Thank you.
I think we're using some of it to help us to create some content, and we use a lot of VR headset and stuff like that to help us in the arts department, and that's been very interesting. I mean, we've tried a few things recently, so it's something we're very interested into leveraging technology overall, and I think as I stated before, for us, innovation is important. So we always test, new technology and see how it can help us to create more or better content, or just help us to be more precise. I was looking, one of our artists doing some stuff through the VR headset just to be able to model things differently and being more into the making. And that was really mind blowing, seeing, how fun it seems to be for him to be there and doing all these things instead of having to be in 2D you know, on his tablet. So like that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah, over at the back. Hey.
Beautiful catch.
It's almost hit the thing. Hi. So this is probably going to be this sounds really weird. This is probably going to be a slightly difficult question, but I've spent a few years teaching people at university level and people at more recently college level, so 16 to 18-year-olds and 18 to whatever age you go to university at. And obviously, for a lot, there's a whole thing about how education in the UK towards games has its own issues. But let's say you want to give some advice to some people who are either at college level or university level. Obviously, now there's a lot of stuff going on in the industry. What would you say for them is just some good advice as to how to approach maybe the next 2-3 years of what you think would be a good thing for them to either mentality to keep or with the focus on in order to eventually be in a better position to feel confident to actually enter the industry, especially when there's a lot of things possibly demotivating them, whether it's just the education themselves or just the state of the industry or even bad advice they might be getting.
Sure, I can take that. Right? Yeah. So I think you're absolutely right. There's perhaps more challenging time for people coming into the games industry at the moment. I think there's, the long-standing advice, like the best thing to do getting involved in the games industry is get involved in making games. So to get involved in game jams, go out there, do stuff that's outside the remit of your course and show what other work you can do, because a lot of graduates will come out with sort of very similar portfolios and so forth. So what makes you stand out in that space? Getting to meet people and network with peers within the industry, going and taking part, building those connections with others and finding maybe opportunities for yourself, but also ways to support and go on for that. I think the thing I always say to everyone is there's no golden path to getting into the games industry in any role. And you don't have to, have this sort of perfect route where you go, I did this degree and then I came from here to get this in to get that job and so on. Like, I didn't do that. I worked in the music industry for a long time. I've worked in I worked for a medical PR company for a while. Don't do that, by the way. I think at the moment where there are obviously great opportunities coming up, but also people don't necessarily have to go immediately into the games industry. If they get a job and they work on some portfolio, they build on some, they work on some game jams, form their own little indie project, get a great set of things up on itch, right? Whatever those things are that you feel you do, or artwork or whatever. Doing that while also doing another job is fine. You learn loads of skills in any work, in any job, as relevant as you can find to games, that support and grow you as a person and the skills you're going to need: communication, teamwork, how all that fits together. I was saying this the other day, I used to be a security guard. Don't laugh. I used to be a security guard, being 5'7", obviously, for a number of things. But in that job, which was crap, by the way, I learned quite a lot, just having to deal with lots of people who wanted very different things than I could deliver, and trying to get sort of, a lot of that communication skill actually came in really helpful, and it's good for cat herding and all the rest of it, which, running largely an events-based organization, I have to herd cats quite a lot. So there's lots of kind of skills and opportunity there. I think generally having that solid portfolio, showing you can ship stuff, get stuff done, get it out the door, I think that is always solid advice. If you add to that?
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. I think ultimately as well, you have to tackle whatever you're trying to do with passion, and when you put your art into things, it's usually turned into greatness. So I think that's something very key, and you can see as well when there are a lot of passion and a lot of commitment around project and game project a team is making it. It's always, very successful.
Yeah, and when we say network as well, it's great to do IRL networking, but also there's Discords, there's the Sussex Game Makers Discord, there's lots of other ways you can get online. But, whether you modding community, be part of that, whatever those avenues are to build that network around you is always super valuable.
Right. So perhaps advice to give from me to them, let's say, would be to make sure they don't think that just because they're doing a course that will give them an opportunity, but if they don't want it, they're probably not going to get it, and they need to. It's more of a journey than a pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people on games courses, and there's different kinds of jobs in different places. So it's not always just a straight jump from one to the other. I think it's what makes you stand out within the community that gets you the job you want, that gets you above, and gets, there's, I hear stories of, hundreds of people applying, thousands of people applying for single jobs. There's all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's about making yourself known, but also who you know and how you can fit in with everything.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Down the front. It's going to be a big lob, this one.
Watch.
Nice. Thank you. Nailed it. Thank you very much. That was great. I actually had a question for Luke, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
If this question is not remotely appropriate, please let us know. That makes it sound really bad. Tying into like your work at BAFTA or like the previous work that you mentioned, is there anywhere like a resource which focuses on maybe like listing either like initiatives or resources that are designed towards kind of promoting the development or the use of games as a medium and celebrating the medium, specifically focusing on non-for-profit games or games that are kind of targeting a more like kind of public sector kind of experiential thing? Yeah.
So do you mean like an archive of where you might find more of those games, or just more like advice for people making those games?
Specifically in terms of if one were to be developing a project which is free to play and focused on engaging a community around a specific event, but using games as the medium, specifically XR. Are there any resources or initiatives that can support endeavors like that on the basis that it is non-for-profit?
Well, nothing that I can specifically think of. I think if you look at where I used to work at UKI, the Trade Association for Games, they have a thing called Wikipedia, which is like Wikipedia but for the games industry. There's a whole load of resources for all kinds of things across the games industry there. It's something I created while I was there, and it's got headline industry stats, it's got links to diversity networks, it's got reports, it's got all kinds of stuff. There's a whole section on there for indie developers about kind of stuff you might use in pitches, stuff you might want to like business advice, so how to set up a business, all that kind of stuff, through to like then links to all the vast diversity of advice out there on the kinds of tools you want. It's also got some stuff about different kinds of investment funds and stuff that is there that may be more relevant to a business like that that's looking for slightly less traditional routes, less commercial angles. I know that there are a number of funds that are around for people for companies that are targeting different areas, are definitely around certain social issues and stuff. So that's always good to look at. But yeah, that's probably my best advice, is to try there.
Thanks. Was that Yuki?
Yeah, Wikipedia. Yeah, so Wikipedia.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, you just go on their website. It should be there, but they better not have taken it off.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any more? Got probably time for one or two more if we get a chance. Yeah, in the middle. Easy, nice. Like it.
Thanks, guys. I was just going to be quite like a specific question. I've got like 8 years of experience in sales, just doing various different things in various companies, but I've always had a big passion for gaming. I was wondering if you had positions or specific positions in gaming companies that would benefit from someone who has a sales background, like any like business development roles or things like that. Would you outsource it quite often? How does it work?
I would say, yeah, when you have a sales background, you're definitely, relevant to any publishing team with regard of helping them to grow, their sales. As things have changed over the years, physical, it's less, important in the gaming industry, but still it does exist. But digital sales is something very important. Also, if you look at, all the games these days are trying to build a long tail of, live services and, microtransaction game, Game Pass, or, you name it, basically. And having a background in sales, understanding, how to monetize and commercialize piece of content is always extremely relevant to any studio who's trying to, create more value with the game they're making, etc. So I would say this type of role, and business development as well is definitely an area where when you have a sales background, it can really help. And ultimately, it's really down to what you really want to do. I think it's not because you have a sales background that you need to do sales all your life. You know, you look very young in comparison to me. So I'm sure you have a lot of opportunity, you know, to learn and evolve, and you have your career ahead of you. So don't think that because you've done that, you know, you have to stay stuck in this path. You know, whatever connect with you in the game, what do you like, what passion you the most is definitely an area you should try to dig into. I've started marketing and now I'm doing development. So, you know, it's okay, mate. You know, don't worry. We can change. We have time. You know, it's all fine, but you have to follow your passion really and find what makes sense for you.
Yeah, 100%. And like just to talk about, you know, even at BAFTA, we have sales relevant roles. We have a games partner manager whose job is to kind of bring in money to a charity, right? We've got to raise revenues just like anyone else. When I was at Yuki, you know, it's a trade association. They have lots of commercial things they're working on to, you know, so we can all afford to do all the good work that we want to try and do. And they would probably be non-traditional roles in that sense, but very relevant to someone with the skills you had. So one of the people I used to work with, Yuki, who did a lot of that commercial work, is now one of the main scouts for a leading UK games company. So, you know, people who've gone on to do these things, and it gets you that, your experience gets you this part, and then you can build on that and go wherever you want really from there. So I would definitely encourage you to look around but like, it's not as hard set as like, I need to copy paste my job into a games company. It's like, what is it? What's the angle you want to take from there?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And I think probably last question over at the back. Fantastic. There we go. Come on, round of applause. Last one.
I'm a global sales director. You need to come talk to me afterwards. Venom Gaming. They make the controllers for Xbox and licensing. Have you ventured down that route in giving out the licensing for Assassin's 3? And have you explored making products for the world?
So we've worked in the past, and I don't know the entire story of the company, obviously, because I'm still very fresh. But I know we've worked in the past with companies to promote our IP outside of our games. So that's something we've done.
Including a small movie that got made.
I know, movies, a couple of movies actually, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, very good movies. Good quality. I mean, one of them is...
I failed the interview, haven't I?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Apply for the next one. Yeah. Get your back, mate. But yes, that's something definitely we've done. We have a commercial team within our company that actually talk with various partners and develop, some licensing deal and products. I am not the right person to answer this question because they know way more than me, but it's definitely something we are doing and contemplating with our IP. And usually just try to, bring even more beyond the game to our community of fans, in terms of, having merchandise and, as you said, like branded pad and whatever. I've done that in my past life for my previous company, and then I'm sure our team is doing similar things at RIO, but I don't have all the insight yet, so I won't be able to tell you more.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. This has been fantastic. I've enjoyed this. This has been great.
Yeah, it was very cool.
So thank you all for coming, and thank you very much to Silicon Brighton and Sussex Game Makers. So a round of applause to them. And to Projects, of course, for hosting us. But particularly a massive thank you to Veronique Lallier for sparing time in a very busy job. So thank you.
Thank you.
So let's mingle, and we'll all talk to you in a moment.
Thank you.